Welcome, everyone. Today is September 1st, 2016, and I believe this is Mastermind call number 88. Been doing this for almost a year now. There we go. Chad, welcome. You made it. You made it in the nick of time. You on?
I am here. Sorry, I'm a little
Okay.
bit.
That's okay. Am I correct? This is number 88?
I think we might actually be on 90.
All right. Correction. Mastermind call number 90. Chad is the one that we record these calls, guys, and he's the one that posts them on Facebook and on our website. We always suggest if you're new and you really want to get some really good ideas, you can start with the most recent one and go backwards. Welcome, Nancy. I see a lot of people that we met at the FAR conference last week. So we went up to Orlando. We did not expect the turnout, and we met some really innovative, bright realtors, and I see a few of you on the call. Anybody, again, just a reminder, anybody that everybody's muted out so we can, there's not a lot of background noise, but if you know you are going to have a question, if you want to participate, just hit *6 and then hit 1. Our CEO, Tim, is on vacation. I'll be on a plane to a convention in Texas. If we have anybody in Texas at the Texas Association of Realtors Conference, I'll be there next week, booth number 222. Please come find me. I just got off the phone with an agent who had a great testimonial, but he's on his way. Chad, you'll appreciate this. We always, one of the questions we get so often is what is your conversion rate? And it varies so dramatically from market to market and agent to agent. I usually tell people it's around 6%. If you're in a highly competitive market, like Los Angeles or Miami, it might be 1 or 2%. If you're in a rural market, it could be higher. But I just got off the phone with an agent who has been with us just going on his 3rd month, and he was really disappointed that he's only taken 6 listings. And I said, you need to, and he was, 3 of them have sold already, and he was on his way to his first closing. He said, yeah, but I'm not up at the 6% conversion rate yet. And I just wanted to impress on you. It's like probate is so unique in that you're dealing with a very motivated person and you don't have the competition, but it's still like any other form of prospecting. You got to work it, and you got to make sure that you give the numbers a chance to work. The same market that this gentleman is in, we had 2 other agents that signed up for a month or 2, didn't get instant results, and they dropped out. It'll probably shock you all to know that some agents actually, don't follow through on this. They don't do the mailings, they don't make the calls, and they don't get results. But we love to hear stories like that, and he's going to come on the call next week and share some details. And please, if anybody else has any successes, wins on the call, we tend to get our newer agents that come on these calls, and then they get busy, they get successful, and we don't hear from them, except, when we reach out and we hear great stories like that. So please, when you get rich and famous from doing probate, come back to these calls and share with the group. We have our biggest attendance ever. So again, guys, just hit *6 and hit 1. We do have one person in the queue. Chad, do you want to give them an update on the training and how Mastery is going? Anything else you want to share with the group before we get to the questions?
I haven't scheduled the dates for the September class yet, but you'll see that on email, the new format. I think I covered that last week when you were absent, but new format was great. I've gotten a ton of great feedback and some small improvements that I'll do for the September class, but keep your eyes open. Probably the 3rd week of September we will have Probate Mastery. Okay.
Excellent. And the August class just finished. I think you had a record turnout, and I think you said we tell people these sessions are an hour to an hour and a half. From what I understand, the 3 sessions last week went for about 2 hours apiece. Is that right?
Yeah, we had the most engaged group I've ever had, which made it way more fun for me. Great questions. We had people putting themselves in the hot seat, role-playing through all the objections. I think everybody got the most that they could get from it because of that. So it was a great class. I think the new format kind of encourages that. The other thing I did want to mention, next Wednesday, the 7th, will be our September role play call, and we do that at I believe 2 o'clock on the 7th. But you'll see an email invite to that. Yes, it's 2 o'clock on next Wednesday, Eastern time.
Yeah, and that role play call is an open forum too, but if we get questions, we try to turn them into role plays so you guys can actually get practice. You don't get a tremendous amount of objections. I think what keeps coming up on those calls, the biggest objection is just the people are stuck in probate quicksand. They're just, call me back next week, next month, and we role play that almost every call. So any places in your conversations with the executor that you're getting stuck, or you wish you had a better answer, or you wish, you could communicate your value a little better, please come to the call and participate in that. So, Chad, we send out reminders to everybody also, correct? But it's next Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's open it up. We have 2 people in the queue. We have room for at least 3 or 4 more. So please step up and participate in the call. Hit *6. And then wait just a second, and then, I'm sorry, you hit *6 and then you hit 1, correct, Chad?
Yeah.
Okay, blanked out for a minute there. *6 and then hesitate for just a second and then hit 1. All right, well, let's get to the first person in the queue. Phone number ending in 3090, you're up.
Oh, hi. Yes,
hi, Deborah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes.
We can hear you great, Deborah. Hi.
Hi. Although I just really only am into this a couple days, I already got my domain name. Do you have any suggestions for domain names in particular? I already chose one, and I like the idea of creating the website. But do you help us put the material on, or do we have to hire somebody a web designer to do that?
No, that's part of the setup fee. So I think it's $199 that we're going to do. The copy is obviously mostly there, but that includes an about page about yourself. You can link it to, if you have a core website, you can link that to your core website and link your core website back to your probate website. Within reason, it's a fully customized site, for as far as probate goes. So Mark
okay, so in other words, I have a domain name that will go to your landing page that you're going to create.
No, it will go to a standalone WordPress site it's your WordPress site, not just a landing.
Site, okay. And you guys will help me put that whole thing together.
Yep.
Okay.
And as far as domain names,
who do I contact to get that going?
You can email Mark, MARC, at alltheleads.com or support@alltheleads.com, and it will find its way to him.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
One of our partners, Tim, has had a technology software web hosting company since the 1990s. He's up in Cocoa Beach. He's actually written software for NASA and the space program. So him and his team are what do that. And they do a remarkable job of really taking all the content on our site and putting a home page that makes it look like it's all yours. And we've gotten with the frequently asked questions, and we've gotten we had an attorney one time say he actually learned something reading the frequently asked questions, which is good. So what it allows you from day one to come out with a really content-rich website. And Chad, you know better than I, but with all that content, you rise a lot quicker to the top of the Google searches, right? I think that's the intent.
Yeah, and like I said, we give you a WordPress site, so it can be as good as you want it to be. So you can jump in there and blog and keep fresh content coming, and we give you the best platform we can possibly deliver, and you can make it what you want because it is a WordPress site. So, I will take a second on domain names. So a lot of people have that question. I think Mark handles it one-on-one, but I think it is a good question for the group to kind of hear. My advice on it is look at your big picture. What is your big goal in this space? So probate is one scenario where this skill set, this team of people, this mindset of service that you're providing can be valuable. It can also be valuable to people who have to transition from their homes into nursing homes, into retirement homes. It can also be helpful for a divorce situation. It can be helpful for really any of these life transitions. So when you're picking a domain or when you're, branding anywhere, try not to pigeonhole yourself into saying, I list probate houses. Try to look at it and say, okay, do I want to be a life transition specialist? Because we're coming upon the largest wealth transfer, like the largest end-of-life cycle in our population that we've ever seen. And there's so many people you can help. Once you've put all these pieces together and you provide this high level of service, there's so many more people that can benefit than just executors. So when you're branding yourself, think about that. Do I want to be a transition specialist or just a probate specialist? Or, so don't go all in on, jerseyprobate.com when you might be the Jersey transition team or something along those lines. So just try to think big so you won't outgrow your branding and your domain name.
Does that help, Deborah?
Yeah, do you have some suggestions that you think are really good? It could be generic. It could be anywhere or,
What market are you in? What market?
I'm in the Treasure Coast,
Florida.
Okay. How about Treasure Coast Transitions or it's really long, but Treasure Coast Transition Team.
Would you think that would be better than I had chosen Treasure Coast Liquidators?
I think Liquidators makes me think of, and I don't want to offend you here, but it makes me think of blowing out furniture in a warehouse.
Okay.
I think that there's no there's no emotion there. I think that something like a transition team or Treasure Coast Life Transitions, something like that.
And Deborah, please reach out to Mark. Does this all the time with all of our clients, and run those by him and get his opinion also. Reach out to him, Mark at alltheleads.com, and he'll call you right back.
Because aside from using just your leads, do you also help us with Facebook advertising and putting the whole thing together?
We don't do that right now.
If you're advertising to all time, if you're looking for people that are transitioning, it encompasses getting the probate needs.
Sorry, your phone kind of cut out. I didn't catch the end of that.
Oh, it did? Oh, I'm sorry. I have 3 bars.
But we're not doing online marketing right now. It's just kind of outside of the scope of what we do.
Right. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Deborah. We got 2 more people in the queue, and we got room for 2 more after that. So, again, hit *6 and hit 1. And the next person up, your phone number ending in 3787, you're up.
Hey, how you doing, guys? This is Seth from New York.
Hey, Seth. Welcome.
Hey, Seth.
All right. So actually, I have a few questions. It'll be nice. I'll just ask one. I know there's people waiting. But I started just a few days ago, a week ago exactly. I haven't signed a whole bunch of listings yet, but so far I'm really impressed with the quality of the leads. Just really great stuff. And I sort of ran into an issue that I didn't expect. I talked to a lot of these people, and I actually sent out 5 pitch packets already. People who asked for pricings and all that kind of stuff.
That's great.
But
in 2 days.
What was that?
I said that's great. In a few days, you've already got 5 good leads. That's great.
Yeah, I was shocked by this, but.
Yeah. And you are, by the way, Seth, you are in the most competitive market in the United States, in my opinion. So you're in New York City, right?
Yeah, I'm in New York City, and what I've found is just talking to people, trying to get information out of them, they're all inundated with letters, which I sent as well. They're getting so many of them, but I may be one of very few who are actually calling them, which is very nice. But my issue now is 4 out of these 5 people who I'm trying to grab the listings up, they're not local. for me, that's a really difficult situation because, so much of the business is sitting down in front of people and making the eye contact and getting to know them. So what is your guys' suggestion for trying to stand out in the crowd and locking down that sale on someone that's remote and really doesn't have, that ability or has less of an ability to make that connection with you?
Skype, Google Hangouts, Join.me, GoToMeeting. Like if they have any kind of a tech level, I've actually hosted some of my best listing appointments with virtual appointments. And if you want to impress the hell out of somebody, set it up, have everything organized, and all they have to do is click a link and log in. And you got to kind of match what technology you use to the tech level of the the heirs, and make sure that you make it as simple as possible for them to show up. But you can cover an entire listing appointment, virtually, and still build the same rapport.
Interesting. And do you find success with that, even if it's, an elderly person, a 78-year-old or a 90-year-old? Are these?
I have different levels. If there's no tech skills there at all, I will actually email a PDF, or if they're really just don't do tech at all, I will snail mail a PDF. I'll snail mail a package with the market absorption analysis, my net sheets, everything that I would normally sit down with people. So anyone who's going to be part of the conversation will get that package either by email or by snail mail, and then we'll all call into a conference line. And if somebody can't call into a conference line, they're probably not somebody you want to do business with anyways. But you can kind of, find ways to come to their level of tech savviness, but make sure everybody's looking at the same material and everybody's in the same conversation. And, there's probably not many agents that are going to be organized enough or willing to take the time or even understand the value of doing that. So if you can just downplay it and say, hey, no big deal. Listen, we got a system for that. We can, is everybody pretty tech savvy? Everybody has a laptop? Okay, don't worry about that. Let me get everybody's email address, and you can fire it out. So just start with the most, I kind of start assuming that, ideally I want to use something like GoToMeeting, because with GoToMeeting I can upload handouts and they can ask questions in the box and I can record it, and, I can do a lot of different things. But if they're not there, then I can say, well, what about Skype? You just want to jump on Skype and we can all chat? Or, what about if I just email you everything and then we get on a conference call? And if I have to, well, let me drop this in the mail, and I'll go ahead and put the conference call on the call-in number on a Post-it note. Just dial into that number on Friday at 3, and we'll talk about this stuff. And what I always try to do before, because you're at a bit of a disadvantage if you haven't seen the property, what I always try to do is get access to the property before I have the phone call. So I'm really prepared to blow them away when we get on the phone or when we get on the webinar. So, yeah, listen, I was over at the house last Tuesday. I met with Sally. The place looks great. I do think that you should do X, Y, and Z, and we can actually take care of all that for you. And, just go that extra mile and know your stuff before you get on that call, and you'll shine.
And, Seth, if I could comment, I so appreciate what you said there, because we've got agents like Paul in Florida that has never picked up the phone. He's in a very rural area, and he got 18 listings last year. But I tell agents, whether you're in a competitive market or not, your results are going to be dramatically better if you pick up the phone. If you're in a highly competitive market, your mail piece is going to get lost if you don't pick up the phone. And it's kind of interesting, Seth, my own experience here in South Florida, I tested this when I first had the idea almost 4 years ago. I ended up doing 16 deals. I only went on one appointment, and to me that was an advantage after being a realtor for 40 years, not having to. And very honestly, I'm not real high tech. It was just phone conversations. I was just very patient. I spent as much time with them as need be, and I found exactly what you're just saying. The people had gotten down here in South Florida, they had gotten 20 letters, but in most of the time, I was the only person that called them. So that's how you differentiate yourself. So congratulations on doing that. And then you had some follow-up question also, correct?
If as long as there aren't too many people waiting.
No, we got one person. We got plenty of time. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So I just have a two-part question then, because again, as I'm going through these phone calls, I'm trying to feel people out from information, and for some of them, I feel like I'm too late to the party, and for some of them, I feel like I'm too early to the party. So the first part of the question is just a practical, logistical one. Is there like a logistical reason why the leads come in 1 month after? And then the second part of the question is for those people who, like you mentioned earlier, who feel like they're in a little bit of probate quicksand, barring any legal complications, how do you convince them that they need to list now so that you're ready to close by the time it gets out of probate and there's not a lot of waiting? Because that, you obviously want to be sensitive and not push too much, but at the same time, you don't want to sit back and let some other agent, just grab up your listing.
Yep. So part one is we send somebody into courthouses. So someone physically walks in, gathers the data, comes back, and then we augment it. If we were to go in there every day with that person, we would have to charge you 10 times what we charge now. So it's just kind of we chose 30 days as our mark. There are some markets where people have actually paid us, said, hey, I'm okay paying more. Can I get it every other week? And if you're interested in that, we can look at that if we can accomplish that in your particular courthouse. If you are interested in that, email support at all the leads and say, hey, I want to see if I can get, more frequent lead delivery.
Got it.
Part two.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And the courthouse is sort of releasing them monthly, and then you guys get in there per month?
They're released whenever they're recorded. But we go in just, because we have over 3,000 counties to manage. So for us, it's the researcher goes in on a 30-day period and pulls 100% of the leads that were recorded for the last 30 days.
Got it.
What he's saying, if we can have the researchers make an extra trip, but it adds to the expense. And in most cases, I always cover this when I first talk to all of our agents. We hear overwhelmingly that the attorney will tell these people, okay, I filed the probate, you can't sell the house for a few months. So most of the time, that first 60 days, they're in a holding pattern. If it comes up to where the attorney says, okay, your probate's going to be done in a week or two, that's when they tend to start Googling, reaching out, actually actively looking for a realtor. So in most markets, being filed in the last 30 days is plenty good enough. In a highly competitive market like yours, if you think it's an advantage to get out there sooner, let us know, and we'll just charge you what it costs us. We're not going to, exorbitantly raise your rate. But if you really determine that that's important because your market is so competitive, let us know, and we'll see if we can do it for you.
Yeah, well, we'll talk offline about that then, just because, I'm getting them on the 22nd of August, and a lot of them are from like July 1st and stuff like that, July 2nd, so it'd be great to be able to,
sure.
to do that maybe.
All right, yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that. And then, Chad, you had a second part of that question as far as the
second part, like how to get them to move now, and what Jim said is right. Like a lot of attorneys are telling people, just don't do anything, just sit still, I'll let you know. But the reality is they can go ahead and get the personal property cleaned out, get the home cleaned in its best, where it shows in its best light, get it on the market, find a buyer who's patient, which in a market that's as aggressive as yours right now, I'm sure there are buyers who will sit around for 90 days knowing they're going to get the home. So you got to look at your local market and kind of say, okay, why would it make sense? If I owned this house, why would I want to sell it today versus 90 days from now? Is it because I can sell it quicker this time of year, can sell it for more money, if it's in, if I've got more time with the more market exposure? Like, really only you can answer that question, but look at your local market and say, why does it make sense for them to just not sit on this thing for 90 days and wait for the attorney to shuffle paperwork? It usually comes down to like market exposure. You are usually better off to have the home out there being marketed than not, because you're guaranteed not to sell it if it's not on the market. And you we'll probably have more buyers to choose from, the sooner you get it out there. So just think of what those benefits are locally to you, and that's the reasons you can explain to them.
And Seth, if you would come on next Wednesday's call, let's role play that again. It comes up almost every first Wednesday of the month on our role play calls. And so if you're able next Wednesday, come on that call and we'll practice that a bit.
Yeah, I'd love to, because it seems like an easy sale, because that average time to close in New York City is usually between 150 to 400 days from listing.
Wow.
The question is just how hard to push, because there's a lot of red tape here.
Absolutely. All right, excellent. We do have any, Seth, is that all of your questions?
I'm done monopolizing.
All
Sorry.
right. Hey, welcome. Congratulations on taking massive action very quickly. And, keep it up, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday. We have one more person in the queue, and that's probably going to be just about perfect as far as time. Phone number ending in 9790. You're up.
And it's perfect timing. I'm right in the middle of something. I was getting keys. I was getting my house rekeyed, and he just walked up to me to get paid. But you already answered my one question about the website. And should I wait for the letters to go out before I call them, or should I call them first? Because I'm new to this. I'm not new to real estate, but I'm new to calling these kind of leads.
Sure.
So it's your preference. A lot of people, we have some really bulldog prospectors that just want to call as soon as they can. Personally, I like to wait until the letter has shown up. That way I can say, hey, John, this is Chad. I sent you a letter last week. Just following up to make sure you got it and you understood why we sent it. You remember seeing that? And it kind of warms up that call. And if there's 30 letters on the copy table, then you're probably the only one that called, just like Seth was finding. So, listen, no worries. I'm sure you've got a whole pile of mail there. Mine's the one that looks like a birthday card, but don't worry. Let me just explain to you what we do and kind of just, see if there's any way we can help you. So it warms the call up versus you calling, trying to explain who you are, what you do. And I just found that I had way more marbles in my mouth when I did a straight cold call versus already sending a letter and at least half the people already having read the letter and understand why I'm calling them.
I understand. I appreciate it, and I'll give Mark a call today. Give Mark a call today about getting my website set up, because I'm ready to roll on these things pretty hard.
Awesome. And Dave, by the way, if our mailing division does the mail for you, we'll actually mail you one of the letters. So when you get the letter, then your potential listings probably got it too. It's kind of a tickler to remind you when you get the letter, they probably got it too. It's a good time to pick up the phone and start making the calls.
I appreciate it, guys. I'm sorry. I'm doing my locks now.
That's all right. Go get your house rekeyed. Get it sold. Hey, guys, that is absolutely 30 minutes on the button. Thank you so much for everybody that participated. Very good call. Please come next week. I will not be here. We're going to have a great success story. I always like to end these calls by challenging y'all. Thank you so much for taking 30 minutes out of your life to show up. You took the time to show up. Take one idea, one thought, one thing that inspired you that you heard on today's call. Go out and put it into action, and please come back next Thursday and let us know what your results are and how you did. If you need us before Thursday, support@alltheleads.com. Thank you so much for showing up today, guys. Make it a great week, and we'll actually talk to you next Wednesday on the role play call. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.